Hello friends, Pulkit this side from Gadget Generations, and today I'm going to bring you a review for the brand new HiBy R6 Pro 2. This DAP is recently released worldwide and it is priced at $750 US. I have recently posted an unboxing video for the R6 Pro 2 about a few days back on the same channel. You guys can go and check out the unboxing video as well, and I will be adding the link to the unboxing in the description section below. Before I begin the review video, I would like to thank HiBy for organizing this review tour for the R6 Pro 2 in India. You guys can go and check out about the R6 Pro 2 on their website. I will be adding the link in the description section below. A little bit of information before I start with the review. So the R6 Pro 2 is a brand new mid-fi level, their mid-fi level digital audio player, which is equipped with a flagship grade driver configuration or DAC configuration. It houses 3 DAC chips featuring one AK4191EQ and dual AK4499EX, the current flagship from the AKM Technologies. Also the DAP features Class A and AB switchable amplification mode and latest Android 12 operating system and Snapdragon 665 OS. So well, that's about the technical parts for the R6 Pro 2. Let's begin with the discussing with the design and build quality for this beautiful player. Well, so beginning with the design and build quality for the HiBy R6 Pro 2, it is a very well built device. It has a really stunning finish with this beautiful purple color option. I absolutely adore this purple color. When HiBy offered us an option to choose between the black and purple color, we actually the entire team of reviewers jumped onto the bandwagon to grab the purple one for Indian too. So talking about the design and build, it is very nicely done. It has a really nice these vertical lines finish on the back side, along with a carbon fiber like pattern on the half of the top side on the back. You also get a HiBy branding logo printed onto a golden layer on the back side. On the left side we have these 3 buttons and a micro SD card slot. These buttons are for previous and next track, also for play and pause function. On the right side we get the power button, the LED key, the LED indicator that glows into different colors based on the active bitrate. You also get volume rocker keys over on the right side, along right underneath the power button. At the bottom we get a Type-C charging port and also 4 outputs. The 2 are line out options, the 3.5 and 4.4 mm, and also 2 phone outs, the 3.5 mm and 4.4 mm. Well, this is the device that is built quite nicely in terms of its performance. It is quite snappy. I'm using a 512 GB card onto this device, loaded with like 6000 flags, and it read through it within like 1 or 1.5 minutes. So that's quite snappy considering the hardware. Also the display is quite amazing. It houses a 1080p display screen that is quite crisp. It is not as crisp as some of these latest generation smartphones that offers a 4K or Quad HD display. This one has, but it is nicely comparable to smartphones that have a 1080p display. And also the user interface is also quite good. It uses an open Android 12 operating system, which is quite easy to use and has opens doors to multiple applications, including Apple Music and different other applications. I am personally using Apple Music for streaming and also the HiBy Music based on application for the offline files. Well, that's about the design and build quality part. Now let's move ahead and we will talk about drivability and combinations that I have given to this device. So let's move on that part now. Well, coming towards the driving part, the output power is kind of probably one of the cons that you will notice earliest onto the device. It has an output power rating of close to like 400 milliwatts per channel through the balanced output port, which is quite low considering the amount of devices that are available at this price point, offer easily around 700 to 800 milliwatts of output power, like my Shanling M7, which is rated at like 700 milliwatts through the balanced output power. Obviously it is slightly priced on the higher side compared to this one, but I'm just talking in general terms. So output power is basically kind of limited, but you won't be feeling any kind of lag when it comes to driving IEMs with the R6 Pro 2. These drive through IEMs easily, even the power hungry ones as well. I have tried it with multiple IEMs using different driver combinations, including Truth Here's Hexa as one of the budget hybrid sets, the Sennheiser i600 as a single DD IEM, F40 Dux as another single DD IEM, Kinera Nana as a tri-brid IEM, and also with an Audio Z Euclid power hungry planar magnetic IEM. So Out of these, all of these I have tried with it. The Odyssey, Euclid and Kinera Nana 2.1 are quite power hungry and scale better with pad resources, but the R6 Pro 2 drives them well through the 4.4mm balanced output, and I don't find them to be lacking anywhere in terms of their sound delivery with this device. Also, I've tried it, so for IEMs you won't be feeling any kind of lag or lag anywhere. You will be able to drive them easily. But for headphones it might not be sufficient. I have tried it with two of the headphones that I have currently have with me, the Sennheiser HD660S2 and also the Moondrop Venus. So I don't find them to be quite good with the R6 Pro 2, so I would recommend using an amplifier if you want to drive headphones with it, because the DAC section is quite good. DAC section is quite solid in terms of its performance, which we will discuss in the next segment, that is going to be the sound quality part for the R6 Pro 2. So let's move ahead and we will discuss how this beautiful device sounds. Well, let's discuss about the sound quality part. So first of all, the R6 Pro 2 has that rich touch of the AKM DACs that their in-house sound signifies. So the player has a very natural and organic sound output, which sounds quite lovely to enjoy with different IEMs that you can pair it with. As I mentioned earlier in the previous segment, that I have tested it with different IEMs, and I absolutely adored this with the Kinera Nana and the Odyssey Euclid. Also with the Truth Hears Hexa, the added richness, the lushness to their vocals and the mid-range is quite amazing. That is all thanks to the HiBy R6 Pro 2. The pair maintains sheer resolution throughout the frequency band. All the three segments, including the lower end and the mid-range and the treble, has a quality resolution, a crisp clarity to it that just makes it shine properly. Talking about the sound in different brackets, I would say that the bass region is nicely presented. It is tight and it is tightly controlled and has a deep reach in the sub bass region. Mid bass is also smoothly presented with rounded notes. You won't feel any kind of bluntness with it. You will be feeling a sense of musicality with the R6 Pro 2. It has a very rich and lush presentation, which is nicely done, which just complements different genres of music nicely. So mid-range has a very accurate and rich presentation, especially for vocals. I just absolutely loved on this device. It is not a mid-centric device per se. It has a balanced tuning in all the three segments. The bass region is tight and nicely controlled. The mid-range is clean and has a rich presentation to in both instruments and vocals. The treble is smoothly done and has a slightly laid-back presentation, but it has good level of detail retrieval as well. But the main part of the sound quality that really impresses me for the R6 Pro 2 is its soundstage. I mentioned earlier in my unboxing video as well, that day I just gave 30 to 45 minutes to the player, but after listening to it for about a week or something, I'm really impressed with its soundstage. It is open, it is dynamic, and it has a really wide and 3D soundstage with good depth. Instruments and vocals are nicely separated. The separation, the clarity, the sound, the openness of the soundstage is simply amazing. It even trumps my Shanling M7 in that regard. Yesterday I was listening to both these players, comparing with the Effect Audio Code 23 and Kinera Nana combination, and while I was enjoying it with the M7 as well, but as soon as I put it on the R6 Pro 2, the way the stage opened up is really amazing, and just literally I was mesmerized with its presentation. So the pros for the sound quality for the HiBy, the richness of vocals, the rounded notes for instrument, they don't sound blunt, they have a very smooth presentation. The openness of the sound stage, it really sounds open. It has a very nicely separated instruments and nicely done sound stage, which is really impressive for me. Also the bass is tight and nicely controlled in its region. It doesn't leak even with some bass heavy IEMs like the i600 or with the F-Audio Dark Sky. Also I would like to mention the Dark Sky gets a amazing punch in the mid bass with the R6 Pro 2. The bass from mid bass hits really hardly and just sounds amazing to me. As a whole, I would like to summarize that technically it's a very competent IM. It is not an analytical. It is very competent player. Sorry, it is not a analytical player. It has a musical presentation to it. Has that in-house AKM sound that adds the richness and makes the makes the listening experience really musical and enjoyable. Well, that's about my sound quality summary for the HiBy R6 Pro 2. Now in the next segment, I would like to compare this beautiful device against my current digital audio player, the Shanling M7. So let's move on to that part. Okay, so it's comparison time with one of my current digital audio players, the Shanling M7. So first of all, the in-house AKM sound has a richness to its presentation which benefits the R6 Pro to timbre-wise. Timbre-wise, while both of these are quite identical, but R6 Pro 2 sounds smoother and has a more musical factor to its output. Secondly, the notes feel rounded and they are not as blunt as on the M7. M7 isn't a very blunty or snappy dab, but the R6 Pro 2 has a little bit more smoothness to its output. Vocals has a more textured and more detailed and more refined presentation on the Shanling M7, but a richer and lusher presentation on the R6 Pro 2. Soundstage, the main comparison. The M7 has a little bit of intimacy with its sound, while the R6 Pro 2 sounds way more open and dynamic. The instruments are well detailed and well refined onto the M7 as well, but it sounds more open. The R6 Pro 2 has more openness to its sound. Instruments have a more sense of air between them, so they have a better sense of clarity to them in the R6 Pro 2. I don't know, so don't get me wrong in this segment, because M7 is a highly capable device and it has a good amazing resolution and clarity as well, but due to the added air and slightly better separation, it sounds more clearer. Clarity was the wrong word earlier. Clearer, its instruments sound clearer in its presentation on the R6 Pro 2. Shanling M7 has better, the user interface on both the devices is similar and identical. Both the devices supports latest Android devices, so you won't be getting any kind of issue in driving anything else, using any kind of application. In terms of drivability, the M7 excels with more output power. It has an output power rating of like 700 milliwatts per channel, while the R6 Pro 2 has somewhere like 380 or 400 milliwatts. So that's my comparison between both the devices. Now let's move ahead and I will talk about the cons for the R6 Pro 2. You guys have heard all the good things about it so far. So coming to three things that I personally don't like about the R6 Pro 2. First of all, there is no difference in sonically in class A and AB modes. So the R6 Pro 2 has two amplification modes, class A and class AB, but there is no sonic difference into them. I have tried multiple IEMs, I have tried different headphones, but I don't notice even the slightest of the difference between them. The player already sounds quite clean. There is not much of a difference in class A mode in that regard as well. It has a clean presentation, but there should be, I kind of expected some kind of difference between class A and AB sonically, but there isn't anything. Secondly, the battery life. The battery life, you need a sorry for my bad words, you need a power bank with this device, because R6 Pro 2 has 5 hours of battery on class A amplification mode. I have tested it thoroughly, played some music, noted some time, so it was taking somewhere like 20 to 22% battery in an hour's time using offline music library and 4.4mm output on high gain mode. Even with streaming it is even worse. You get like 4.4 to 4.5 hours while using Apple Music. I actually got that, but the class AB mode is slightly better. It has 6 to 6.5 hours of battery life on class AB mode, so that's there. Battery life is kind of a bummer for me. Thirdly, the output power. The output power is kind of limiting on the R6 Pro 2. You don't get a lot of output. You just can drive IEMs with it. If you are going to drive IEMs, then it is quite good. I personally use IEMs most of the time, so it is quite good and sufficient for me in that regard. But if you are someone who needs an who listens to music mostly on over-ear cans, you will be needing an external amplifier with it. That's about only the three things that I don't like about the R6 Pro 2. Now let's finalize the review with my final words and an experience that I shared with the device over the past week. So let's move on to that part. Well, to complete my experience and my complete review for this R6 Pro 2, I would say that yes, the device has some of its cons like limited output power and a bummer battery life, but apart from that, it is a very well built device and it has an amazing sound that compels you to listen to music hours and hours on a single run. I have remembered earlier this week I was listening to the F40 Dark Sky, and I just couldn't put it down from my ears because it was sounded so lovely. It was sounding so balanced. It was sounding so rich. I just absolutely adored the combination. Actually, for quite some time I'm using the Shanling M7, so it has an ESS based DAC, and the AKM, the difference between ESS and a nicely done AKM is easily prominent in this combination because it has that added richness to it. If you guys have heard the Shanling M7, you know that it is not a bad DAP. It is actually a very solid DAP, and that's the reason it is in my collection, because it has that resolution, the sheer resolution, the amazing detail level and everything with it sounds so good. But the added richness of AKM that the R6 Pro 2 has just wants me to grab a unit of R6 Pro 2 for myself and use both the devices, turn by turn, because it has that compelling factor for me. The added richness of the AKM DAC and the clarity and the resolution that this device also offers is quite amazing. Also, the latest generation Android with the snappy user interface, it's an amazing device available for $750. So to complete this review, if you are someone who uses IEMs all the time and want a DAP that offers latest Android with amazing performance and outstanding sound capabilities, the R6 Pro 2 is a steal deal for $750 if you ask me. But for headphones, you will be requiring an external amplifier. Well, that's about it. I hope you guys like this video review of mine, and don't forget to leave me a like on this video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel as well. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much.